Recording live from Glory Hole Studios in Chicago and beyond. This is Cognitive Dissonance. Every episode we blast anyone who gets in our way. We bring critical thinking, skepticism, and irreverence to any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes us mad. It's skeptical, it's political, and there is no welcome mat. Today is Thursday, October 26th, and we are back in the glory hole, baby.
And it is Vulgarity for Charity time.
It is Vulgarity for Charity time, guys.
This is going to release a couple days before the Vulgarity for Charity goes live midnight on the 1st.
And this comes out on the 30th.
This will come out on the 30th.
Yeah.
So you have a day or so to figure out,
get your shit ready,
who you want to get roasted, because all you have to do is go to modestneeds.org. Once you go there, find whoever it is that you want to donate money to. There's a whole bunch of people there that you could donate money to. You donate the money to Modest Needs. Modest Needs vets those causes and then pays those people directly. The people who are asking for the money never see that money. So they help a ton of people who are on the margins, who are just hanging on by a thread, can fall into poverty very easily. And Modest Needs helps them, and your dollars help them. And so if you donate $100 or more to Modest Needs, you send a receipt, show us that you paid that, and send it to Vulgarity for Charity. That's the word, not the number, at gmail.com. That's all one word, Vulgarity for Charity at gmail.com. Do it on the 1st of the month to Thanksgiving, anytime in there. And it can be as much as you want. You know, we've had donors of thousands of dollars before, and we will be selecting randomly 100 people, and then we will be selecting the highest donors, the highest single donors, 100 of those, and there'll be 200 roasts that will happen within the next several shows on both our show and Scathing Atheist.
And we also have a match this year.
We do, $100,000.
So all of your money up to $100,000, your money is going to be doubled. And then I just also want to say that Cecil and I have donated. Every year we've donated to Vulgarity for Charity ourselves. We've donated to Modest Needs. I just want to say it's really fucking fun. It really feels good. When you go to their website and you start reading the stories of these people and you see how relatable these life situations are, you know what I mean? And you see, like, you know what? I remember when my heating broke and I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. Or like when the alternator went out of my car and I didn't know how I was going to get to work. And like, you see these stories and you read them, you see the humanity of it. And then you're able to go in, and because, you know, a little bit of money, that's the whole thing with Modest Needs, is a little bit goes so far. Yeah. And you can be the difference to help fund somebody out of trouble.
Yeah.
And it's a good feeling. It's a really fun thing to do, to go in and be like, hey, I helped somebody tangibly in this way that's very direct and very one-to-one. There's so many great organizations and so many great charities out there. But when Cecil and I talked a long time ago about what we wanted to, how we wanted to be involved charitably with respect to the show, you know, we've done things for things like Doctors Without Borders and other larger charities, but you're never 100% sure what your money specifically is doing. And one thing that's wonderful about Modest Needs is you know exactly what your money is doing. You see it in action with this family or that person, and it just feels good. It's a really great feeling. So I encourage everybody to go and to modestneeds.org and make your donation. If you can't donate $100, it still matters that you donate.
Yeah.
Like, you might not get roasted, but please send us the totals. Totals anyway.
We keep those totals. So even if you can only give $5, send that to us.
Give what you can give. It matters.
Yeah.
Right? It matters. The thing is, like, you don't have to fully fund any one person.
Yeah.
You can fund a piece of, and it can aggregate up and it can make the difference.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking like, oh man, $100, I can't do that, then don't do that. But do what you can.
Yeah,
if you can do something, please do what you can.
The people, we're going to be selecting roasts for $100 and up, but any amount of money helps. And like Tom said, you know, these are people who don't need a lot. What was it that Keith said? $700 is the average.
Right.
And so you figure about $700 is what people are asking for. And $700 can help save someone's life. It can help change the entire trajectory of their life. I remember when I was a kid, we got our gas and our electric turned off because my dad had lost his job and we were getting evicted from our house. And we had those things turned off. And I remember going into the bathroom, Tom, with a Coleman lantern in the middle of the night. Because you have to go. You gotta go. You gotta go. And you gotta. And it was one of those ones with like the bulbs. It's like fucking unbelievably bright. It could light up almost our whole house with that Coleman lantern. I probably got brain damage from like the kerosene fumes or whatever. But like genuinely, I remember those moments in my life that were really, really tough and really trying. And my parents did the best they could, and they couldn't sustain us with all the things that were needed, all the human rights, the things that we call human rights. They couldn't keep all those things on for us. And these people are on this site looking for those little tiny bits of help, and those little bits of help matter. They genuinely matter.
They do.
What the flip are you looking at? Think this is funny? Think this is some kind of mother flipping joke? Mother flippers think everything's a mother flipping joke. Well, let me tell you, the jokey ain't no jokey, sucker. Look at me and what do you see? Just a badass brother who made a mistake. And now I'm staring at you, Gims, every flipping day.
Tom, we would be remiss if we did not talk about all the people who have flipped.
Oh my God.
It is so good.
Fucking Flip City, brother.
It is so good.
It's like, I was actually earlier this week, you know, because we haven't talked. It's a couple of weeks now, you know, which is unusual. So like, you know, all this stuff is popping off, guys. And I'm texting Cecil. I'm like, oh, Jenna Ellis flipped. You know, I'm all like excited, you know, and like, I was like, oh man, are we going to get like, we're going to get to 6 by the time I get to the studio on Thursday? We got 4.
Well, we got three for sure. No, we have 4. We have 4 in the Georgia case because you have Powell, the bounty hunter guy in the beginning who flipped, and then you have Jenna Ellis and Chesebro.
Oh, I forgot.
So you got 4 here
in Georgia,
and then a possible one that is rumored. Mark Meadows has flipped.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Mark Meadows.
That's a report,
right? So the Mark Meadows thing is it is a claim on some reports, and it's interesting because I didn't see this in some of the bigger news sources, but then I saw it in some like NBC. And some
ABC was the one who broke it. So at least according to, I think it was the Rolling Stone article we have. I think they attribute it to ABC. Yeah, and I did search for it and found it on ABC.
I found it other places too. Yeah. So, but my go-to paper that I read every day is the Times. Yeah, and I didn't notice it in the Times, but I did see it in many other places. Yeah. And what's being reported is that Mark Meadows agreed to take immunization or whatever. Like, I guess like he's immune from prosecution. Yeah. And this is in the federal case. This is in the case brought by Jack Smith. Yeah. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't remember Smith. Jesus Christ. Like, what the fuck?
Seems easy, but no, that's fine.
But now Mark Meadows is also named in the Georgia case.
Yeah.
And the testimony is correlative. So it seems very reasonable that if this actually pans out, if this reporting is true, and he did take an immunity deal,
he's going to do it somewhere else.
He's 100%. He's not going to be like, I'll take an immunity deal for the one federal charge, but I'll roll my fucking dice in Georgia.
Yeah.
Right. So when Meadows flips and it becomes more public, the amount of pressure that's going to put, I mean, there's really only like one other big fish.
Yeah.
And that's Giuliani.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else in the Georgia case could flip, and I can't think of anybody right now other than Meadows or Giuliani. And so, you know, you're right. There's these cases are all very much hinging on each other. And Meadows himself being rumored as someone who has decided to take immunity is a huge deal.
Big fucking deal.
I mean,
big fucking deal.
This person was an executive in the cabinet. This is not some rando, right? This isn't even somebody who came and said they were his lawyer.
Right.
This is so much bigger than all those people.
Oh yeah. This is a government. This is White House chief of staff. Yeah. This is your right hand.
This is literally your right hand.
This is the guy whose office is next to your office. Yeah. This is when you're up late eating hamburgers and throwing plates of ketchup against the wall. This is the guy who's like right there with you, you know?
Yeah.
This is your like fucking work husband. You know what I mean? This is. And I was thinking about this week. And what I really love is there's an essential truth that I really want to talk to you about and kind of get your thoughts on. These are not mobsters.
No.
And these are not like gang members. These aren't hardened guys. These aren't men and women of the streets. You know what I mean? These aren't guys who are like, hey, yeah, I got something to do a dime. You know what I mean? I'm going to do a dime. I'll get right out. Hey,
I'm not a rat. I'm not a rat. Right. Fuck you. I'm not a rat.
These guys are like me.
Yeah, man.
And if it was me, I'd be fucking flipping on flips.
Yeah.
I'd be a carousel of flips. I would flip because like I'm a soft, middle-aged professional guy, right? I am not hard. I am weak and soft and shitty. And I don't go to jail. So I think like it's one thing to bluff and bluster when the case is first made and you're kind of feeling it out and you don't know what the prosecution has. And maybe you're still like in talks with your attorney. But as the net starts to close around you, these guys are soft as fuck, bro.
There's a moment where you, as a defendant, have to look in the eyes the judge.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I think everybody kind of realizes, they say those come to Jesus moments.
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of realizes this can be really, really bad. Something really bad can happen here. I think all beforehand, like you say, there's plenty of chance for you to talk yourself up. I can talk myself up for years, right?
Sure.
I can be the baddest man in my own gangster rap song.
Right, yeah.
But the moment I walk in, it don't feel good to be a gangster. Let me tell you. I'd be like, oh, you know what, Your Honor, I made a huge mistake. I am very sorry. I will take this literal slap on the wrist.
Yeah,
or in his case, from what it's rumored in Meadows, is there's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally immunity to testify. So that's at least what's rumored right now. So it's nothing. It's nothing.
It's nothing. And can you imagine? So like, again, like using the mobster analogy, if you're in the mob, right, you've got an entire social network that is built around supporting you so that you don't flip, right? Because like everybody's in the same sort of boat. But you have exactly the opposite. If I got arrested, and like, even if I didn't do it, Cecil, even if I didn't do it, and I was like, hey, Haley, either I can take this immunity deal and tell the prosecution what I know, or there's a possibility I leave my friends and family and my career and I go to jail for like 10 years. Do you know how much pressure I'd be under from friends and family?
Yeah.
Everybody around me would be like, what the fuck, man? Take the immunity deal. Take the probation.
Probation and a misdemeanor.
Everybody would be telling
me. Nothing is happening to you.
Right.
Nothing. You almost subverted our entire democracy.
Right.
And nothing is going to happen to you.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. You have to be nice for 5 years.
Right.
Now get it. You're a shitty person. You're a terrible, shitty person. And you wanted to overthrow the government with your fucking legal mind or whatever.
Your elite strike force
with your
of
elite
Jaguars
strike force people.
Krakens or whatever.
You wanted to fucking overthrow the government. So you're a shitty garbage human being.
Trash.
Right?
Absolute trash.
You're absolute trash. But you get to walk away from this literally scot-free.
Yeah.
Nothing. The worst thing that can happen to you is somebody looks over your shoulder for 5 years.
Yeah, and then these deals they're getting are first offender deals, right? So it also means that if they don't get in trouble in Georgia for like 5 years or 6 years, whatever the length of their probation is, then their records get expunged.
It's clean.
So, and these, for the lawyers involved, these are not being like marked as moral turpitude, I think it's called, which means that they are not getting disbarred. So they are not necessarily, so you can either take the deal, you got to write an I'm sorry letter.
Aww.
You got to agree not to break any more laws for 5 whole years.
Wow.
And you get to keep your job and go home.
And you get to live your fucking life, man. You could have fucking upturned the whole apple cart of the United States and you get to be cool.
And they got to write a check for $5,000. Oh, $5,000? That's the check these guys write. So it's a big nothing burger deal because what the prosecution wants is not these little fish.
They don't care about these people.
If you're Giuliani right now, the pressure, because all the other attorneys have flipped. So you're the last attorney on the line.
God, I want Julie to flip so bad.
Oh,
I want him to flip so bad because just so much hate has come out for these people after the fact.
Yeah.
I just want Giuliani to have no friends. Like, that's what I want.
I know.
I just want him to be like, I'm sad, I'm by myself.
Dude, after the way he treated Ruby Freeman and her
I just want him to be sad forever. I want him to be sad forever. Be sad. Never a day. Every day is sadder than the next day.
You know what day it is?
Normally cheers.
Saturday.
You cheers people at their wedding and you're like, I hope this is the best of your worst year tomorrows or the best of your future or whatever. Bullshit, whatever you say. You say some of that shit. Instead, it's like, I hope every single day is a new pain. I hope every day is worse. I hope every day you look at yourself and you hate yourself a little more, Julie. That's what I hope. Fuck that guy.
I hope he hates himself so much that the fucking hate starts to leak in black rivulets.
Already has.
Out his, all right.
He's already sweating the evil out.
Yeah,
He's
just
got
like
the evil sweats.
Fifth Element
But
shit.
seriously, like these people, let's talk about the other flippers for a second, because we've got to talk about a couple others. So I don't remember talking about Sidney Powell with you.
We didn't.
We didn't on the show.
No. Yeah.
So Sidney Powell, funny enough, pleads guilty, right?
Yep.
She's the first real one after the bounty hunter or whatever that guy is. The
dog or whatever.
Dog, the bounty hunter. Dog, the bounty hunter is like, I fucked up. My whole life's a fucking mess. What do you want? And so...
Look at me. Did you expect better?
That dude
He's a bail bond without a bounty hunter.
I know he's a bail bond. Yeah. The guy's like, and the guy this is one of those dudes from Coffee County. These are the people who we talked about. Yeah. Before any of this happened, you and I were like, one of those motherfuckers gonna flip.
Yep.
They're gonna flip, man. I guarantee very soon that lady who's like the fucking chairman of the fucking PTA, where she's 100% gonna flip. There's no way she's not flipping.
What do you, real quick, I know we want to talk about, but like, I actually want to do maybe some Prices Right rules. How many do you think will flip?
Oh, we gotta be over under.
Yeah.
See, because you already won a bet with me. We'll get to it. But you already won a bet with me from the last show.
On the house thing.
I didn't think it was going to be fixed either, but I bet anyway because I thought it'd be fun. But you won the house bet, so we'll bet.
The house always wins.
We'll bet lunch. House did win. House hadn't been winning in a while. So we'll talk about the house a little bit. But so genuinely, I think that there's 14, right?
Well, I think there was 18 co-defendants plus Trump.
Let's look up, see who all the co-defendants are.
Okay.
And then we'll make a quick list to see, we'll make predictions now, flip or no flip.
Yeah, okay. Let's play flip or no flip.
Flip or no flip. All right, so starting with Donald Trump, no flip.
No flip.
No flip.
No
Donald
flip.
Trump, and I think that what they'd offer him is prison time, and he'd say no.
Yeah.
So I think if they're going to offer him a deal, but it's not going to be a good deal. Julie, I say no flip.
I say no flip.
All right. Next one up is John Eastman.
I say flip.
I think this was a flip. I think Eastman's a flip. I think Eastman's a flip. Meadows, I think it's a flip. I think it's a flip. He's got 2 counts in this. I think they're going to go away. Next up, Chesebro already a flip. So, Jeffrey Clark. Oh, don't flip. I want you to go into the worst prison.
Cecil, I want you to look at that man.
He's going to flip.
So bad. He's flipping so hard. You think that guy's going to jail?
He looks like fucking Tom Bosley's son. Like, he looks like he's going to get beat up by the Fonz. Like, get the fuck out. Look at this fucking guy. There's no way. This guy, look at me. No, look at me. I wouldn't last a second in a jail, the cushiest jail in the world. I wouldn't last a second. I would walk in and my heart would explode immediately, right? I wouldn't last a second. This guy lasts a half a second.
This guy, what is he going to start doing push-ups? What are you kidding me? He's gonna get big.
He's gonna shank the biggest guy in the yard within the first 5 minutes.
Take the guy. Yeah,
he's gonna take the biggest guy out.
Beat somebody to death with a fucking lunch tray. What the fuck?
Fuck up some big dude with like a fucking swastika tattooed on his eye, and he's gonna fucking be stand over and punch him in the mouth.
Dude, I hope Jeffrey Clark doesn't flip. He goes to jail and he comes out with like fucking teardrops and his eyes tattooed black and shit. Yeah,
he
looks all gangster.
I think he just needs to finish the hair, go skinhead in jail. It'd be great.
He's flipping so hard.
I can't.
So hard.
Okay, I'm gonna make a pledge right now.
Yeah.
I will donate $500 to the ACLU if he doesn't flip.
All right.
I will donate $500 to the ACLU if this man doesn't, there's no way this guy is, there's no way. There's no way this guy's 100% flipping. Of all the people, this guy flips. I can't, I mean, you look at him and he looks like he's room temperature butter. He looks so soft. He looks so soft. His hands are manicured. I guarantee it.
This is a guy so soft Viagra couldn't help. All right.
He needs to go for him. Jenna Ellis already flipped. Ray Smith. This is the guy, I think. Did he flip already? Is this the Ray Smith?
Lawyer. He's a lawyer.
No, not Ray Smith. I don't know who this guy is.
Well, it says he's a lawyer. His name's Georgia lawyer Ray Smith, among those allegedly involved to solicit public officers. I think he's a flip. I think all the lawyers flip.
Okay. Next one is Georgia lawyer Robert Cheeley. Made false statements to members of Georgia State. 10 counts. Sure. I think he's flipping.
He's flipping. Michael Roman, Trump's staff member, named among several blah, blah, blah. He's indicted.
7 counts.
I don't know anything about this guy. I'm going to say no flip.
I'll say no flip, especially because he's a staff member.
Yeah.
I think it'll be tough. David Schaefer is a former state senator and former GOP chair. One of the alleged fake electors.
Oh, 100%.
I think fake electors flip.
They all flip.
I think fake electors flip. Oh, Trevian Cootie. Now, this is the lady who went to go pressure the woman, the 2 women.
Yeah, so she's a former publicist for R. Kelly. No flip.
Really?
Tough lady. No morals. If you're a publicist for R. Kelly, you're a piece of shit.
I told you a story where I was walking by. And I think this is the lady who asked us to take a picture.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding. I think this is the lady.
Who was like, hey, do you want to take a picture with R. Kelly?
And I was like, no, thanks.
No.
And we kept walking. Yeah.
All right, so I'm at 8 flips.
I'm gonna say flip on her.
Okay, you're going flip.
I'm going 9.
So you got an extra flip on me.
Harrison Floyd. Wasn't he in Star Wars?
He should.
Harrison Floyd. Black Voices for Trump is accused. He's associated with Black Voices for Trump. He is with.
I don't know anything about him.
Cootie. I don't know. 3 counts. So 1 count of violation of the RICO Act, 1 count of conspiracy to commit solicitation of false statements and writings, and 1 count of influencing witnesses. I don't know, man. I feel like you fight that. It feels weak. It feels small.
I'm not saying flip.
I'm not saying flip.
All right. Sidney Powell's already flipped.
Already flipped. Sidney Powell. Catherine Latham. I think this is the former Coffee County. She flips like a motherfucker.
She's flipping.
That lady's flipping. Scott Hall already flipped. This is the bondsman.
That guy's a flipper.
And then Misty Hampton is the one who's elections director.
Yeah, nobody named Misty is not flipping.
Flip.
I'm at 12, you're at 13.
12 and 13 flips. We'll see where we're at the end of this whole thing.
I don't think we're that wrong.
And hey, if you want to play at home, you can play flip or no flip. All you have to do is send us an email with your list of flips and see which one you think, and then we'll keep track. It'll be like a pool, it'll be like a Deadpool.
There you go. There you go.
You figure out who's.
All right, let's remember that. I'm at 12. You're at 13.
I'm at 13 flips, and we'll see who who's wins. And we're not deciding. So like if Giuliani flips, and neither of us picked it, but you get 12.
I get 12. You get 13.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay.
If Giuliani flips, I'm taking the day off of work to celebrate. That's it. I'm just going to laugh for an entire day.
Giuliani seals Trump. I think Giuliani 100%. Sinks him completely.
Yeah, 100%.
So Sidney Powell, we already talked about, flipped. Now, right afterwards, on her social media, like within a couple days, she started. Now, this is a story. This is from the Business Insider. Yeah, Sidney Powell pushes claims the 2020 election was rigged and prosecutors extorted her after she pled guilty to election interference. She did this after the fact.
Yeah.
And I was reading, like, they could basically say, they could cancel her.
They could cancel her deal.
They could cancel her deal. They could basically say you're violating your probation or whatever it is.
The plea agreement is based on her full cooperation with the prosecution. So, like, continuing to push the same bullshit that, like, built up the prosecutions. Like, She's playing with fire. And she's absolutely playing with fire.
And from what I read, several of these people had long statements with them already. So they've already done their sort of video testimony about this. So now it doesn't matter what she says because she's already said it on video. And so some of this stuff has already been recorded and already sealed basically by the judge.
So she can't take back
there's no takesy-backsies when you're being deposed or whatever it is.
So she could lose and not hurt. So she's not like she could be like, you know what, I changed my mind.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hurt anyone. She's already done the damage.
It's already done. From what I've read, it's already done.
Then here's what I want. I want her to keep running her fucking mouth.
Keep running your stupid mouth.
I hope.
Your big stupid mouth.
I hope this stupid asshole gave great damning testimony.
Yeah.
That it's all on delicious video. And then I hope she can't keep her stupid fucking mouth shut and she still goes to jail for 6 fucking years.
Yeah.
That would be delicious.
That'd be awesome.
That would be
the other one was Chesebro. Chesebro wound up flipping too.
Yep.
And his was almost right after. So she flipped, and they were early cases, right? These were people who had early cases. Both of them came forward, and both of them pled guilty almost immediately. Within a couple, I want to say within 48 hours of each other, they pled guilty. But then this week we heard about Jenna Ellis. So Jenna Ellis, if you don't remember, she's the one who smelt it when Rudy dealt it.
I was literally going to make the same joke.
This was when she's like leaning out and like Rudy fucking rips out a nasty fart and it's picked up on a fucking cardioid mic, like a lapel mic or some crazy shit. They somehow farted so loud it was caught on camera.
See, so I will say, if I ever have to appear in court, I'm just going to rip them.
God, man.
Because, you know, if I appear in court, it's because I fucking did it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like...
But in any case, she was one of these people. I saw a really funny post because she's one of the only ones who was smiling in her mugshot.
Oh, I remember that.
She was smiling in her mugshot, and someone posted how it was or how it's going, like how it's been or how it's going, whatever that meme is. And it was her smiling. And then this is the other thing I want to play for everybody. This is her giving her testimony to the people on Zoom. So I'm going to pause this. We're all going to listen to her give her written apology. And this is one of the few ones that I was able to capture. And this was a Reddit thread. So I'm going to play this.
So hold on a second. Does this count as her apology to the state of Georgia?
I'm not sure, Tom. I can't tell you if it counts or not, but she is reading an apology right now.
Thank you, Your Honor, for the opportunity to address the court.
I'm sorry. Could the video quality be worse? Is there something you can do? I know. Can you fucking go to CSI, hit enhance?
It feels like what you're doing is you asked Rudy to crank something, and Rudy's standing on the side and he's dying in between every crank, and so we have a 140p video that we're watching.
What is smeared on the lens?
Yeah,
it's like fucking French fry grease.
It seriously looks like it's going to refresh every 45 seconds.
So bad, guys.
As an attorney who is also a Christian, I take my responsibilities as a lawyer very seriously.
Do you though?
And I endeavor to be a person of sound moral and ethical character in all of my dealings.
I want to pause, and anybody who, like me, and I'm sure a lot of other people out there, sometimes if you hear somebody crying, it can sometimes make you feel sympathy for them. I want you to feel no sympathy for this person. This person wanted to overturn a duly elected person in this country and instill a fascist autocrat, a dictator, a fascist autocrat in the fucking White House. So have no sympathy, no matter how much your lizard brain is telling you, maybe you should have some. No, you should have no sympathy for her, none whatsoever.
In the wake of the 2020 presidential election, I believed that challenging the results on behalf of President Trump should be pursued in a just and legal way. I endeavored to represent my client to the best of my ability. I relied on others, including lawyers with many more years of experience than I, to provide me with true and reliable information, especially since my role involved speaking to the media and to legislators in various states. What I did not do, but should have done, Your Honor, was to make sure that the facts the other lawyers alleged to be true were in fact true. In the frenetic pace of attempting to raise challenges to the election in several states, including Georgia, I failed to do my due diligence. I believe in and I value election integrity.
Do you?
If I knew then what I know now, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post-election challenges. I look back on this whole experience with deep remorse. For those failures of mine, Your Honor, I have taken responsibility already before the
Doesn't sound like it. Sounds like you blamed other people.
It literally sounds like she just blamed everybody else.
And I now take responsibility before this court and apologize to the people.
Cecil, I take responsibility for, not checking that you were lying when you were lying. Get the fuck out of here with your non-apology apology. This is a lady, Cecil, who was fired from her job as a lawyer at traffic court.
Was she?
Yes. She was fired from her job as a fucking traffic court lawyer.
Good.
You know, like when she's like, to the best of my ability, it's like, that's pretty low ability.
Yeah, I mean, like really, like, I don't know if anybody else should have expected anything better of you, actually. Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. What a fucking, I hate the crocodile tear shit. Like, this is somebody who was smirking her smug smirk during her mugshot.
Up until like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, where's your balls now?
Where, you know, that's a real problem, right? And how do you believe this? First off, how do you believe this person? But also, secondly, even if she is feeling bad, I don't feel bad for her.
No,
right?
Yeah,
even if you feel bad, you couldn't feel real bad. You did a real bad thing, and nothing is happening to you.
Yeah, right.
Nothing is gonna happen. The worst thing that happened to you is you fucking cried on a Zoom call.
Yeah,
that's the worst thing that ever happens to you. So I don't fucking care, man. I don't fucking care. Worst thing should happen to you when you try to fucking upset the entire democracy of the United States.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Let's not forget how fucking serious this all is,
and how close we came.
Yeah,
how really fucking close we came to no longer having a functioning democracy.
Yeah.
Because of this crack team of shitheads and dimwits.
Yeah.
We almost lost the basis of our entire government and the democracy we all value and cherish. I will say, though, that, like, I do wonder on a personal level for these people, and I hope it's enormous, that how much of their, like, friends and family, because they're probably surrounded by right-wing maggots, right?
Yeah.
Like, their friends and family are almost certainly, like, not like my friends and family, not like your friends and family. They're almost certainly a bunch of right-wing nut jobs, a bunch of election-denying MAGA fools, right? So, like, what do they think of her now?
Yeah. I don't know.
And I, at the one hand, I could be like, oh, I bet they all feel really betrayed. But on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, but they're all hypocrites.
Well,
so I bet they don't.
Also, in the news this week, a bunch of people are going after her because she collected $200,000+
Yes, she did.
via GoFundMe. And she said she was going to use that for her legal fund, which she then pled guilty to. So I don't know how much money that costs.
Probably not $200,000.
Certainly not $200,000. I mean, I mean, fuck, I'll take a quarter of that to tell you to fucking plead guilty. Are you kidding me? So I don't feel like, I feel like, one, I think everybody over there does not understand that the grift is perpetual, right?
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people that are on the lower end of that are the guppies at the very bottom that are just waiting for something to happen. They don't understand that grift never stops. That it's a grift it's not teacups all the way down. It's a grift all the way down, baby.
Yep.
And so I don't think they understand that. But people are mad and they're posting about it on Twitter and whatever, or X or whatever. They're posting about it. They're mad about it. That Laura Loomer, she's mad about it. She's screaming about it. But fuck your face. You gave the money. I don't know what to tell you, man.
You gave your money to a fucking right-wing grifter.
Yeah.
What did you think that, like, grifters going grift?
Yeah, I mean, like,
she was beaten by the best.
She was literally basing her entire case on a lie, and you gave her a bunch of money. I don't know what to tell you, man.
You know, what is delicious too, though, is that for a lot of these people, they're not out of the woods, right? They have other cases, and a lot of them have civil penalties that they're facing. Huge, back-breaking, life-ruining civil penalties. Like, Sidney Powell is named in the Dominion and Samantha cases.
You're fucked.
Like, Sidney Powell's going to get fucking eaten alive. She's going to lose.
She should have went to prison, because then they could have just used this, like when she's making license plates or whatever, they could use that cash to give to fucking Dominion.
Yeah.
But she was fucked.
So these people are going to get sued into fucking oblivion.
Yeah, she's fucked.
I do hope that if they avoid justice and they flip and they give us the bigger fish, I'll take it, right? Because at the end of the day, what I really want are the biggest fish.
Yeah. I want Donald Trump to go to jail. That's what I want.
It's got to happen.
That's what I want.
What can't happen is the next autocrat can't see a playbook. What we have to do, it's essential that other people following in the footsteps of Donald Trump don't see a playbook to follow. They need to see, like, fuck, that guy ended up in jail.
Yeah.
that guy didn't work. That seemed like it was working at the time, but ultimately, that's how you end up being the first and only president to ever do time and get handcuffs slapped on you.
Yeah.
I want to see handcuffs on that fucking
guy. And as it stands right now, with people flipping, I feel like it's going to be a real uphill battle for him to win this, especially with people off that literally were on his team now on the other side. That's going to be real hard game for you, man. Real hard game for you to win right now.
Yep. And good. And I want to see for all these other people that are avoiding justice and flipping, I want to see their lives ruined through civil penalties. Just ruined.
Yeah.
I want it to be judgment after judgment. I want them to be bankrupt in perpetuity.
And here's the thing. Right now, Chesebro, he has a felony, but he's, like you said, first-time offender, so it's probably going to get removed after a certain amount of time. Jenna Ellis, I think there was maybe a penalty, but there's very little after that.
Right.
So again, nothing for her. So these people are getting away with it. They got away with it.
They are. Yep.
And so I want to see people really genuinely have a hard time after this, because this is something that is so important, and we're 3 years out. So we forget how important it is.
Yeah.
It was genuinely a time, a very, very serious inflection point in the United States history. And it just so happened that enough leverage moved it over to the side that sane people barely won out.
Barely.
But understand, there's a real possibility in a lot of these places where they were genuinely trying to overthrow the government. They deserve every fucking book we have to throw at them.
100%, man, because there's a lot of runs of this simulation where the government fell.
Yeah.
Right? They were existentially tipped over.
And what the fuck is the matter with this bitch?
Let's talk about, we alluded to it, Tom, but let's talk about, so there was several speaker races. You did win. You said it wouldn't be resolved by this last Monday. It was not resolved by this last Monday.
Resolved yesterday.
It resolved yesterday.
Yeah.
They have a brand new person. His name's Mike Johnson. He is a hard-right, election-denying, 6,000-year-old Earth believing psycho.
Just seriously, imagine the worst thing you can imagine.
Yeah.
It's fucking Mike Johnson.
It's this guy.
Also, like, can you have a more fucking basic bitch name than Mike fucking Johnson? Like, for real. Mike Johnson, it sounds like it's like, if you wrote this, you'd be like, jazz that up. Jazz that up.
Yeah,
come on.
ChatGPT comes back with that, you're pissed.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like, fucking Mike Johnson.
On now.
I never even heard of this fucker before.
I've never heard of him either. He's a representative from Louisiana, I believe.
Yep.
And he's just he is, if you threw all the bad ideas of the Republican Party into ChatGPT, they would spit out a basic evil person named Mike Johnson. Yeah. So he's the
pumpkin spice of the right wing.
He's the one who won. But Jim Jordan ran 3 times, failed.
Yep.
Then we were talking about Scalise last time, but Scalise stepped out.
Yeah, he pieced out.
He pieced out before a vote.
Yeah.
Then Jordan ran and actually tried to get votes on the floor a couple times.
Yeah.
Didn't work. And then failed behind closed doors, and they got rid of him. Then another guy named Tom Emmer jumped up.
Yep.
But he never even got a vote, I think, on the floor because did he get one on?
I think he got a vote
on the floor. Yeah, because he won the nomination. So he won the nomination by the GOP, but then he basically failed. Yeah. And then this guy started, but it was like yesterday when it finally resolved itself. It took 3 weeks.
It took 21 days.
Yeah.
It took 21 days. And I have seen, I know we talked about this before, but it cracks me up. I have seen people being like, oh, well, the Democrats, they didn't help. And it's not, you misunderstand. Like, at any time, the GOP could have voted for fucking Hakeem Jeffries too.
Yeah.
So it works in the fucking reverse. You dumb motherfuckers couldn't get your shit in order. It's not up to someone else to come rescue you.
They only had a 4 vote difference.
Right.
When Nancy Pelosi won the thing. There's only 4. Let me tell you, there wasn't a single Republican that voted for Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah. No.
So don't tell me that it can't be done. Right. It can be done. It was also done when you had fucking the other guy was in that, Kevin McCarthy. You guys did it before. Right. It's possible, right? You can absolutely do it. You just got fucking jackholes in your party.
Right. And the thing is, at the end of 21 days of chaos and disarray, every single one of them united behind Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
It It was 100% of the Republican vote.
Well, and they
all got behind him.
Well, and it's because this guy is one of the people who basically was the architect behind the fucking 2020 election of denial in the House. Like, this is a guy who was like really pushing that the election was stolen bullshit. This is, and you know what's so funny is a couple weeks ago I mentioned this guy on our show, Tom, this Ken Buck, Congressman Ken Buck. Well, he got evicted from his office after refusing to vote for Jim Jordan for Speaker of the House. So this is a guy from Colorado. Yeah. He had a nice office. And then one of his donors, I guess, who let him have it or whatever, was like, fuck you, get out because you didn't vote for Jim Jordan. And he said he wasn't going to vote for an election denier.
Right.
And then he was asked the same fucking question, right? Couple weeks later, he was like, everybody makes mistakes.
Well, and like, also like a reporter went to ask a question and like of Mike Johnson or whatever. They went to ask a question about the election denial. And then he got booed out. They got booed down. And that, shut up, they screamed.
You know who said shut up?
No.
That was the same lady who we played her fucking Congress video on our show. That old lady, the grandma. It's the same lady. It's the same lady
shit.
From like Utah or whatever. We played a funny, like her doing a rap or whatever. We played that on our show. That was the lady who's like, shut up. That old grandma.
Yeah.
She's in the front and you're like, are you serious? You can't ask that question?
I want to watch that video again. That video is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. I laughed until I cried.
But in any case, we've got these people who are 100% there. The whole Republican Party is united behind an election denier.
The
whole Republican Party.
I do think that a big part of it was that it just got to a point where it was so embarrassing. I really don't think that they all are like ideologically thrilled with Mike Johnson, right? I don't. I think that like there's a lot of moderates who would like to see somebody else, but I think that it's at a certain point, it's like, guys, this is so fucking embarrassing. We have, as a party, we just keep pulling our fucking pants are down, our assholes open, and we're just getting fucked.
I have a feeling like a lot of these people who were pushing before just finally just caved because they were just like, but genuinely, they all backed him. They all voted for him.
And that's at the end of the day, that's it, right? Now we have this fucking F-tier fucking third-rate bullshit Speaker of the House that nobody ever heard of.
You order a Speaker of the House through wish.com,
right?
This is what you get.
Yeah, this is the Temu Speaker of the House or whatever.
It's the Oratron Speaker of the House. He's gonna push an agenda. And right afterwards, literally right afterwards, Gates goes on Bannon's show.
Yeah.
Because Bannon streams for like 16 hours a day and just like moves from puddle to puddle. And he's on there, you know, talking, and Gates comes on and says, this is the ascendancy of the MAGA party. This shows that the MAGA party, that this is where the mindset is for everybody. And it discounts the fact that there's probably just exhaustion, but he thinks this is a major win for them. And it might be, but I think that that's a loser. I genuinely think that's a loser for them. We're seeing the hard right MAGA party is the most extreme portion of the Republican Party. And we're seeing those very extreme Republicans from across the country start getting their ass kicked because they're picking things, they're backing losers. They're backing things like, you know, abortion, no abortion whatsoever. You're backing shit like that. You're picking a loser. You're basically picking a loser. And so I hope that they keep on trying to go this far right, because I feel like the next election is going to be a rude awakening.
I think they're going to get absolutely in 24. I think the right is going to get fucking curb stomped. I really do. I think that they are going to get. I mean, they obviously lack the ability to govern.
Yeah,
they absolutely lack the ability to govern. You know, Matt Gaetz is the architect of this 3-week debacle.
Yeah,
and like he might celebrate that, like Kevin McCarthy's ousted and their fucking wackaloon is in. He might look at that and be like, yeah, chest thump, that was me. But it's like, yeah, also the last 3 weeks, that was you.
Yeah.
The disarray in your party. I do think that this is, again, another crack in what I do believe is the schism that will divide the Republican Party into two distinct parties.
Yeah, here's hoping, man. Jesus.
I just feel like it's happening.
I hope so.
So this story comes from Vice. White supremacist killer testifies he was radicalized by conspiratorial content like InfoWars.
Yeah, this guy, this is from a case from a long time ago.
Yeah, this is the guy that, if you remember in 2021, this is the guy that drove a pickup truck into like a family of like Muslim people. Yeah. And he had resisted evidently the urge to do this on more than one occasion. And there's part of this that I want to read. So he says, I consumed libertarian content, mainstream conservative content. Then I slowly started looking at some alt-right content on YouTube. And then I stumbled across more of the fringe. The content he described focused on the Great Replacement, a popular conspiracy theory among the far right focused on minorities taking over white majority countries, and the idea that Muslim violence is undercovered by mainstream media. He said he consumed conspiratorial content like Alex Jones' InfoWars, where he found conspiracies that Middle Eastern wars were a conspiracy to try to bring Muslim immigration into Europe. This then led him to white nationalist content. So like we've talked about this before, and I know I have like strong opinions on the social media topic that are not often agreed with, but like how far does this have to go before these content providers are required, if not by law, but by decency, to adjust their fucking algorithms.
Yeah.
So that we don't create these extremist rabbit holes. Like, is there no technological solution? Like if we're going to allow these awful fuckwits to just be in our public spaces, like we're going to concede that YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, that these are our new public spaces. We don't have to concede those spaces to these people structurally by like building and like mowing the lawn to create a nice path that you can easily follow to get to these people. Shouldn't we make it full of brambles and thickets? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why that like we are accepting the idea that algorithms be algorithming, that we just like can't do better.
Well, and we know that they don't do a good job. We know because we've been demonetized. They took our channel down with no strikes whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
They took our entire channel down for no reason. We after it was over, it occurs to me that what happened was there was a comment that was made that I made to someone else that was from the incel community. And that comment did not violate anything. They just saw that comment, and then a bunch of people, I think, reported that comment, and that was enough to remove our channel. And none of those things, like nothing I said to them was bad enough to get our channel off. I mean, I wasn't even rude.
Right.
And so, but I think that there was enough people mad at us to report our content, and then they just don't even care, right? So there wasn't a human being's eyeballs anywhere near our content, right? The only way we got our content back is we knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy who could nudge the right people to try to get somebody to see if they could take a look at it. But without that, even though there was massive, like we had, hundreds of retweets and a bunch of people saying stuff, they never looked at it. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't care.
Yeah.
So they don't care. They don't care at all. What's shocking about this is that this is 2021. This is happening. So this guy's consuming this stuff in the 2020s, not 2019. Weren't you planning? I mean, after the election of Donald Trump, I think a lot of these companies tried to do something about it. But look, you really fucking dropped the ball. You're still releasing shitty alt-right content and you haven't fixed your algorithm yet. Look at what happens with us. We say stuff, we read a conspiracy theorist out loud. We read a quote from a conspiracy theorist and they take our video down. They don't know what they're doing. They are literally they just have it's basically, you do just as well with a random word generator deciding whether or not someone is on or off, has an on or off switch on your platform. They're not, they're trying, and we think that they're sometimes being a little too strict with us, right? We think that they're being too strict with us, but that's not true. What it is they just don't care, and their algorithm's bad.
Yeah, and like part of me thinks, and I know this isn't like gonna ever happen, but like the rabbit hole is not the video you search for, right? So the rabbit hole is not the video you went and found. The rabbit hole is the video suggested by the video, suggested by the video, suggested by the video, suggested by the video. So like, if they can't do a good job sort of like marking the content, right? And deciding like this content is acceptable and having content that isn't full of like fucking mean-spirited, vicious hate speech, then like maybe that suggested video feature needs to just go away. Maybe like YouTube needs to be a place where you go and you find stuff.
They'll never do that.
I know.
They'll never do that.
I know. But I wonder,
because
like,
the rabbit hole is what they want.
Can't we sue them into it? You know what I mean?
Don't think so.
Because like Section 230 shields them from responsibility for the content, but not for the structure. Like the structure is the problem. I'm not saying the content's the problem. I'm saying the structure is the problem. The structure of their pages is building this murder, right? This guy drove a truck into a family of other human beings. And I'm just like,
based on the videos he followed.
Right. And this isn't the first or second or 10th time this has happened. Not. I just wonder, is this going to be like, and I think I know the answer, but is this guns?
This is guns.
Where we just don't care.
Well, I think we care, and I think a lot of people care, but I don't think that there's enough political will to get it done, period. There never will be. Right. I don't feel like there ever will be. And the people who are in charge are really fucking rich. And rich people make a lot of decisions without us. We don't get to make those decisions. Those rich fucking people. You were talking about Twitter earlier. Fucking forget about it. You don't get to make any decisions on Twitter. Nobody but Elon Musk gets to make those decisions, period. We know he's a micromanager, and we know that's how that shit rolls. Now, that may lead him to a free market solution of him losing his fucking Twitter eventually, right? Eventually, they can't pay for it because it's going to shut down because he's scared everybody off the platform except for the most hateful people who are only, there's only like a tiny revenue stream of blue check marks, right? So there's a possibility there could be a free market solution for that.
Right.
But genuinely, before then, you don't get no fucking say.
Yeah, and maybe like, and again, I don't think this will happen, but like, what about if like we just like if like at least there was an age verification so you couldn't get radicalized before you're 18. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe my kids, when they go to YouTube, just shouldn't have any suggested videos. They can have access to the whole of YouTube, but like just age verification. Like it's not like we can't do age verification. You can do a digital age verification very easily. And then like maybe YouTube is just like, you know what? We're bad at doing this. And like we tend to radicalize people and they accidentally find shit like ISIS. And they accidentally find shit like, this.
I don't disagree.
Just like, maybe don't let them go down the rabbit hole.
I think.
But I know we won't do it, but I'm just like, fuck.
Rabbit holes too, it's too much money.
I know.
It's too much money. Getting somebody sucked into videos, following those videos, that's ad after ad after ad after ad. And that's the juice. That's where they make their money. That's you can't fuck with that. Yeah. That's not you. That's not for you. You don't get to fuck with that. And the fact that it radicalizes people, for them, that's blood in the gears. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't give a shit. You lost an arm? Oh, well.
Yeah, we made some money.
You're still fucking making wool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't give a shit about your arm.
No, yeah, man, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not at all wrong.
And like I said, these are the richest companies. These are $1 trillion companies that own these things.
It's hard for me not to look at these companies the same way I look at big tobacco.
Yeah. I agree. I think that they're doing something very harmful.
Yeah.
I think they are doing something very harmful. And I think after time after time after time, we see it happen. Like, this is a guy who was driving his truck and killed somebody, and he did it because he found stuff on your platform.
Right.
Like, I don't know how you would feel, Tom, but if somebody ever said that about the things that we said,
oh my God,
I would be like, oh my God, I don't know what the fuck. You know
whatever
what I mean?
he watched, we're taking it down.
Like, seriously, like I don't want anybody to be radicalized ever for anything that I said. I don't think they would be. If you thought about what I said, I don't think you would be. But at the same time, I don't want anybody to be. And so, genuinely, I think that these things are in place, and I recognize I understand.
And I know I'm just fucking screaming into the void. You know what I mean?
I understand where you're coming from. And I recognize that the fucking algorithm is a problem. It's a real problem. And it's happened time and time and time again. Like you say, sending people to ISIS, sending people to anti-trans content, sending people to white nationalist content.
It's fucking incel people.
And the fact is like I feel like it's easy enough to get that shit off of your system. They already have an algorithm that people have to say unalive instead of whatever.
Yeah,
I'm going to unalive that person or whatever, so that they can get around the algorithms of the certain places. And they figured out ways to get around shit on TikTok and all that stuff. So they clearly have things in there that already search for those keywords. They clearly have it. They're just not using it.
I know. And I feel like if you gave me the better part, and I'm not even kidding, I think if you gave me the better part of a lazy afternoon and you said, I want you to go down some rabbit holes on YouTube until you find disturbing right-wing radicalized content. I think in the better part of an afternoon, I could find that content.
Yeah, I feel like you could probably find it. I think you could find it in 4 videos.
Yeah. So if I can do that, then the engineers at YouTube can do that.
Yeah. And
like, if I can do it manually, there has to be a way for you to replicate that.
There has to be.
This is a quote from the article. On the day of the killings, Veltman denied that he went out on that day with the intention of conducting murders, despite the fact that he had written a manifesto, put on a military helmet, a bulletproof vest, and a white shirt with a cross on it that was a reference to an online meme about crusaders killing Muslims. And I read that and I thought, like, of course he denies it, right? He denies it because that's the world that we've taught people to live in, is that we can see every evidence of self-evident fact in front of us, and then you can just look me right in the eye and be like, no, you can't see. These fucking people are gaslighting the world.
Yeah. I accidentally tripped and I fell into all these clothes.
Right.
Yeah. As I fell, I knocked my shelf and my bulletproof vest that was on the top and teetered twice.
Right.
I stood up to stop it, Tom. I put my arms up and it fell right over my head.
That's how it works.
That's slid on. And then it tightened itself around my body.
It buckled itself in the back. It was actually a whole thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You were crazy.
And like
1 in a million shot.
He also says that his manifesto is not an accurate representation of his political beliefs.
Yeah.
It's your manifesto. I don't have a manifesto, but I feel like if I wrote a motherfucking manifesto, it would be reasonable to be like, hey man, what do you think Tom's fucking political beliefs are? I don't know. Let's read his fucking manifesto. That's what a manifesto is. Like these people, it's so crazy to me, like that they'll look you right in the eye and they'll just be like, that thing you saw me doing, you literally didn't see me do that thing. What is happening?
That's all of it though. And that's, I mean, we talked a lot in the beginning of this program about the election denial stuff, but that was all the election denial.
Yeah, this is that post-truth.
It's literally it.
But
yeah. It's the alternative facts.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
2016, the gears slipped in the fucking big machine and nothing's been right since.
Really in the wrong direction.
It's fucking so weird to live in this world where you're like, hey, I bet that guy meant what he said. And you're like, huh, only an idiot would believe people mean what they say.
Yeah? Well, listen, smart guy, this is no gag. You're treading on thin ice.
Let's end the show with a little Trump talk here. The judge defends fining Trump $10,000 for breaking gag order. And really genuinely this whole week, Trump like stormed out of the courtroom at one point in a huff. He's so mad.
This is delicious.
He's so mad. And evidently like Cohen was on the stand this week and Trump was in the room and there was a lot of back and forth.
There's a lot of weird sexual tension between
at one point, I guess Cohen, they had asked Cohen a question he had already answered. And so he responded, asked and answered. And that's a way to file an objection, I guess, in court. And the people got the prosecution or the defendants got really mad, and they're like, "You need to calm this witness down. You can't have him talk like that." Because I guess he said asked and answered. And I fucking hate Cohen. Don't get me wrong. I fucking hate that guy. Yeah. Fuck that guy. That guy's a fucking grifter, and he's grifting off our side now.
Yeah,
because he came out as like, "Oh, I'm anti-Trump," but fuck you. You fucking carried his balls for 20 years.
You did, yeah.
Eat my ass. Fuck your face. You've been doing that forever. You ain't fucking getting one over on me, pal.
Yeah. This is a guy who said he'd take a bullet for Trump. He was Trump's fixer forever. He saw the fucking writing on the wall. He got scared. He fucking protected himself and he flipped.
Yeah, and he went to jail for a little while.
Yeah, and now he wants to pretend he's a good guy. Sorry, you're not a good guy.
You're a piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck you.
You've been a piece of shit for decades.
Right.
So eat my ass. You're a fuck off. And so this guy was on the stand this week. And so there was this total blow up. But Trump, this is a moment where the judge actually fined him and said, you violated the gag order.
And this is the second time.
This is the second time he's violated the gag order.
Second time he's gotten fined $5,000 the first time, 10 this time. I hope it doubles every time.
Yeah, man.
Because it doesn't have to happen that many more times before it starts to get very real.
Before it starts really hurting.
Do you think he'll pay it?
Oh, I don't know. He doesn't pay anything.
I wonder if he doesn't pay it, if they'll throw him in jail for contempt.
Oh, I hope so. Gosh, don't pay it. Hope he's broke.
It's going to burn his ass to write that check.
Oh, that's me the best.
Oh, it's so great.
But after this all happened on Thursday, Tom, read the truth that he truthed out.
The radical left judge who should not be handling the fake and fully discredited case brought against me by the New York State AG, it should be handled by the commercial division, but should never have been brought, fined me $10,000 yesterday under his so-called gag order. He is a judge that found me guilty before the trial even started and long before he had the real facts, like Michael Cohen collapsing and choking yesterday under cross-examination and completely admitting that I did nothing wrong. Yeah, that's what happened.
I mean, I'll tell you what. You keep going. I say just keep going.
Keep going, dumbass.
Keep going, man. Just keep reeling
going,
yourself
dumbass.
in. He's his own worst enemy in so many ways. And I think like the point is try to get him in those places where he's his worst. Yes. And this is a moment where he's at his worst.
And again, just to point it out that he's got this case. He's got the case that Jack Smith has taken after him. He's got the Fonnie Willis case he's got to defend.
Two Smith cases, one in D.C. and one in Miami.
That's right. So this is a lot of stress.
Yeah.
A lot of stress. At the same time that he has to campaign.
Who knows what happens?
He's not a young man.
Hamburgers.
He's full of hamburger juice.
Hamburgers are delicious.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Stress. Got to be careful.
It's just like you got his voodoo doll. You're just fucking stretch arms and just like stretching it as much as possible.
I mean, you got to admit it would be fucking hilarious if stress. You know, it just would.
I don't know. I'll be honest. To be honest, I really just want to see him in jail. I would hate to see him luck out of this.
That's true. That is true. But there's a sort of like if he goes to jail, he'll be an existent martyr. And I think like if the stress gets him, he'll just be an old man that died.
He'll be a martyr. He'll still be a martyr.
You still think so?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the energy would be sucked out of the room.
Maybe.
Like you got him, as long as he's in jail, he can continue communicating, and tweeting,
that is true. Yeah,
having interviews and like keeping the momentum up.
Stop. And I'll tell you what, the media wouldn't stop trying to find out what he had to say.
Right.
Because they love him.
They love him.
They love him, man.
So he'll be writing books from jail, et cetera, et cetera. But like, I think if maybe he just stresses out.
Would he be writing books, you think?
Well, someone will be writing books.
Someone will be writing books.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are they allow crayons in prison?
They have to get him the thin ones because his little fingers
can't
tiny
wrap around the big ones. There's no eraser. I made a lot of mistakes. It's the only book that's in those like the huge like spaces with the dots through the center.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Just open it up.
It's like all printing serifed.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Join us on Thursday of this upcoming week. We're going to be having a funny show coming at you. So check that out this Thursday, and then we'll be back next Monday. And don't forget, on the 1st of this month, be sure to start sending in your roast requests with your receipts from modestneeds.org with $100 so you can get on Vulgarity for Charity 2023. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week. We're going to leave it like we always do with the Skeptic's Creed.
Credulity is not a virtue. It's fortune cookie cutter, mommy issue, hypno-Babylon bullshit. Couched in scientician, double bubble, toil and trouble, pseudo quasi-alternative, acupunctuating, pressurized, stereogram, pyramidal, free energy healing, watered downward spiral, brain deadpan sales pitch, late night info docutainment. Leo, Pisces, cancer cures, detox, reflex, foot massage, death and towers, tarot cards, psychic healing, crystal balls, Bigfoot, Yeti, aliens, churches, mosques and synagogues, temples, dragons, giant worms, Atlantis, dolphins, truthers, birthers, witches, wizards, vaccine nuts, shaman healers, evangelists, conspiracy, doublespeak, stigmata, nonsense. Expose your sides. Thrust your hands, bloody, evidential, conclusive. Doubt even this.
The opinions and information provided on this podcast are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of Glory Hole Studios, LLC. Cognitive dissonance makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, currentness, suitability, or validity of any information and will not be liable for any errors, damages, or butthurt arising from consumption. All information is provided on an as-is basis. No refunds. Produced in association with the local Dairy Council and viewers like you.